Two suspects were found guilty of terror-related charges in the 2013 Westgate Mall attack, which left scores dead and many more injured. And while this offers some form of justice for victims, there remains serious concerns on the nature of our response to terror attacks and threats. The Kenya Defence Forces and the British Army has been conducting a modern training and capacity building initiative before deployment to the African mission in Somalia. Our correspondent Melita Oletenges witnessed one such exercise and now reports that for these soldiers, preparation is half the journey to victory.
The sound of gunshots, the sound of war. Only for these soldiers, this is but the calm before the storm. A joint military training between the British Army and the Kenya Defence Forces, focusing on key threats out in the battlefield. This infantry will soon deploy to neighboring Somalia to add to efforts toward combating the Al-Shabaab threat, and safety is key.
The more training that you get in probably the biggest killer of people, biggest killer of soldiers, certainly in Somalia, the IED threat, helps individual soldiers survive. And to be brutally honest, ladies and gentlemen, that is the game we're in here. The idea is to help Kenyan soldiers improve their operational effectiveness and to see more of your boys and girls coming home.
A number of Kenyan soldiers have failed to return home in one piece, killed by the militant group's dodgy ways of war. Among them, the use of improvised explosive devices, or IED, set up as traps. As such, these armored personnel carriers safely transport soldiers from one point to the other. But quite often, the terrain does not allow for easy navigation. So the soldiers have to climb down and clear their path and any booby traps. This is an enemy that respects no law of war, has adapted to the stealth, disguise and devising new ways to attack. There is therefore need for adaptation to emerging trends, be it in intelligence gathering or combat.
The enemy has been mutating. He operates like a harder today, and probably a few minutes later he is already armed, and that is a big challenge in terms of reacting. Whenever you meet herders somewhere in the middle of your convoy, you cannot just hold them down and say that these are enemies.
Out in the front lines, they are bound to be casualties from explosions, suicide bombers, or even exchange of fire. Training in safe evacuation of the injured while still repelling the attackers is critical. Second Lieutenant Sally JB is part of the rigorous training as she leads her platoon in this rural patrolling procedure among key drills by the British Army at the forward operating base located in Archers Post, Samburu.
A new ambitious strategic partnership between Kenya and the UK. And the Defence Cooperation was a key component of that. And why that matters is because we're working together to make this region and the world safer.
We've looked at 6 different areas that we want to work on. Counter-terrorism, joint training, which is what you're seeing here, developing institutions across the security forces, information operations, and creating the right command, leadership and management ethos in both forces so that we can then face the threat of Al-Shabaab.
This urban village at the Kenya School of Infantry in Soi, Isiolo County offers a surreal experience to soldiers. Soldiers train on maneuvering concrete blocks and other barriers in a combat situation. Training and capacity building are helping stop threats before they occur or respond accordingly when they do, these soldiers say.
Probably in the last 2-3 months, we have not had any casualties within or without.
Upon completion of training, these Kenyan soldiers will be deployed to the African Union mission in Somalia to combat the violent extremism threat posed by Al-Shabaab in the region. They train hard to fight easy. With repetition, training and practice, the mindset of a soldier becomes solid as a rock and sharp as a razor.
tactics, speed and precision is key in combat to control the situation even under the most adverse conditions. Melita Oletenges, NTV at the KDF Soy camp, Isiolo County.